So, guys, I do want to talk about AEW Wrestle Dream, and I do want to issue an apology to everybody because what happened was when I reviewed the show, I gave it a D plus rating, and I actually want to change my rating. I would give the show more of a B minus for right now, and the reason why I say this is a couple of things that I really think that a lot of people were talking about some inconsistencies. For example, why would Willow Nightingale have a match when she actually just lost a street fight against Chris Statlander? And then also too that there are other things like you look at Adam Cole coming back in MJF and and Jack Perry and other things like that. Like some people were saying, okay, that's bad storytelling because weren't they in a feud with each other? And I think that what AEW is trying to do is that they're actually just trying to reset some things. And that's actually kind of good because now the TNT division is going to be MJF, Daniel Garcia, Jack Perry, Katsuyori Shibata, and Adam Cole. And then, I think that for Full Gear, you set up Adam Cole versus MJF or even if you do like a triple threat type of thing, or a fatal four-way, that would be cool. The next thing that I would say is that they're setting up Swerve Strickland versus MVP, which is cool. I think that they're going to set up, you're going to have to see Darby Allin, Danny Garcia, and Hook, maybe they become like a trios team against the Moxley faction. And also the Moxley faction, they were really trying to establish who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. So, I mean, there's some clusterfuck in All Elite Wrestling, but they're really trying to unfuck the clusterfuck because the storytelling's not that good. And then the other thing that I will say is that you look at the Don Callis family. I've said this many, many times. How many times does the Don Callis family, Don Callis gets over as a mega heel. He needs to have a title in his faction. And ultimately, with Will Ospreay, it would be good if he had some obstacles. Like, I think that if he loses and he struggles to win, I think that that's going to lead to a way better story. That's going to help his character a lot more because, he shouldn't be like this invincible wrestler type of thing, really, But I do think that, within the next 365 days, Will Ospreay needs to be the AEW champion. But he can kind of do the Don Callis feud and then get past it and then go on to the next thing. And then with Swerve Strickland, looks like Swerve Strickland versus Shelton Benjamin. They should have that Full Gear, and then at World's End, it should be Bobby Lashley versus, Swerve Strickland, and, that's for Swerve's freedom. And he should lose that match because that'll be an interesting dynamic to see him work under the Hurt Business. And then the other thing that I do want to say is that obviously I liked the ending of the show because you needed a sad ending because there's a couple of things that we need to talk about. Number one, you have people talking, and that's the number one thing. If you have Bryan Danielson have a good send-off, it would just it would make everybody happy, really, but it wouldn't really transcend. It wouldn't be controversial. And as Eric Bischoff famously said, controversy creates cash. So sometimes in life, you need to have an ending that is popular but unpopular. It makes people upset, but it's best for business. But the other issue with that is that, now people are more intrigued to what happens on the show, really. And then it also tells you that AEW doesn't always have happy endings. Because I think every pay-per-view they've had since the start has always been a happy ending type of thing, or a mega WrestleMania type of moment where it feels like a big, like hurrah, really. And you can't always have that because the problem is that it becomes repetitive. And one of the reasons why they're not doing good in the ratings is predictability. I would also agree with that in a lot of different ways, really. You establish who the main faction is. You're showing that what they're also doing with AEW is they're showing the Don Callis family, and they're also showing the Hurt Business, and they're also showing, the EVPs and the Moxley faction that, these guys are dominant factions, really, So I like that a lot, really, because with All Elite Wrestling, that's not good when, you have factions and they're just like Team Rocket where they lose a lot and they have no direction, really, So I just think that I'm really proud of the storytelling. They're attempting to make better stories. There are some issues like, what do you do with Adam Page, really? Like, I was thinking to myself that maybe Adam Page could be like the next Stone Cold Steve Austin within AEW, like that unhinged badass against Moxley. I think that would be a really great match. Like, that could be a good direction if he turned into a heel babyface and he just is like, fuck the rules, whatever. I think that would actually be a good story angle because with Adam Page, I think people like that he's brutal and ruthless and he's unapologetic. And I think that in society, we're almost getting back to that type of hero. You look at Art the Clown, who's like the big anti-hero nowadays, where he's unapologetic. So you could turn Adam Page into like a really, really, really big deal. And I think I need to do another video about that. But ultimately, I think that, I would give it a B- now. And I really want to just say that I think that they've really attempted to create more storylines and angles and foreshadow things. And that's actually really, really good because obviously, you got to make sure this thing makes sense. And then also, too, if someone's not working, you got to restart it. And I think I saw a bunch of restarts with Wrestle Dream. So you kind of know what Full Gear is going to look like. And I think Full Gear is going to have a really amazing card. And I'm excited to go there within, 6 weeks from now.